Kumar Singh, Vikrant Kumar, and Mansi Kumari Gupta. So only 5 participants are here. So how many minutes we will distribute to each of all of you, so that without any telling anybody to stop, we can complete it. So 20 minutes each. So may I request Professor Upendra being the first speaker.
It's a turning point for me, like to come to JNU and to be in India. My background is actually I work in Ankara University. I work in Ankara University in history department in modern Turkish history. My PhD and studies are actually mostly based on history from the historical perspective, but also I'm interested and I have studies on Indology. Presenting today on knowledge traditions of Bharat and actually the legacy of Sanskrit in Turkey. So I will be presenting about this. So I can change here. Can we change it? So my paper actually mostly aims to present. It is a descriptive study of the history and the studies of Sanskrit on Turkey. On Sanskrit language teaching and also the translations and works on Sanskrit. And also, can we change it, please? So, next please. And also to investigate the historical context of cultural exchange between Bharat and Türkiye. And also the people who worked on Sanskrit, who did translations from Sanskrit to Turkish, to analyze this, and also to, of course, to evaluate the impact of these studies, and also its of course contribution to Türkiye and Bharat, the relations between, and also to the studies. And so next, please. The outline of our paper, actually I'm presenting, but we prepared it with my colleague Dr. Yalçın Kayalı. He's from this department, Indology department. So first I will talk about the legacy of Sanskrit classics in Turkey and contributions of prominent Indologists. First, this legacy starts with Walter Ruben. He's German, but also after him, his students continued these Sanskrit studies, translations, and work. So I will be mentioning after Walter Ruben, it is called as Ruben School. So the intellectuals and also like people who followed his pathway. So actually, it is closely related to the transition of Turkey from Ottoman Empire to the Turkish Republic. So with modern Turkish Republic, Turkey was based on these modern principles. Of course, education policies were also regulated accordingly. So there was a university reform. So it was based on law and aimed to adopt Turkey's higher education. So this department is a part of this process, actually. So it was grounded in the idea of improving the institutions, like improving these educational institutions as an autonomous body. So Indology department was one of these. And actually, what was happening in the world, especially after between this war period, after First World War to the second one, what was happening in Germany, it was important for Turkey. Because during the rise of the National Socialists, when they came to power in Germany, many German scholars, as you know, they were persecuted and they were forced to leave their country. So the academicians, they were forced to migrate from their country. So Turkey actually accepted those academicians. So Walter Ruben is one of those scholars who founded this Indology department inside of Ankara University. So after being dismissed for political reasons, he starts working as a professor in this faculty of geography and history. In this faculty is the first actually for Turkish Republic, and he founded the chair of Indology here, and he started to teach the courses of Sanskrit, and he starts his studies here in Turkish. He also used to speak Turkish. So between 1936 and 39, he spent 6 months in India, and in this time period, as you see in the picture, he had chance to meet Rabindranath Tagore here. Walter Ruben actually has a very colorful character, so he is really important figure for Indology department. So he showed the way for the other Indologists in Turkey, and he started this tradition. So the only primary source available regarding Ruben's biography and the educational background is this work, İç Anadolu'da küçük bir eski çağ şehri, Kırşehir. You can see its translation, a small ancient city in central Anatolia, Kırşehir. Actually, he was forced to stay and live there. In Kırşehir is a really small town, but he could still, do so many works there, and he translated so many Sanskrit classics there. And he learned the culture, Anatolian culture, and so he had a great ability to learn language and use it in a very productive way. So another work is related to his biography is Atatürk and the University Reform. Ruben also mentioned here in this as academicians at this faculty. Yes. Mm-hmm. So when we look at his works here, through his all his professional life, he regarded his most important work as this German work. It is in English, Social Development in Ancient India, a 6-volume work. This is really important. And one of, I think you see it in the picture as well, the original work in German. And another one is Cultural History of India. It was published in 1978. In 1946, Ruben also received an invitation from a university in Chile. And he also lived there for 2 years. And after the Second World War, he was called to Germany again. When we look at his studies for all his career, you see so many translations from Sanskrit, and also there are works related to Indian history as well, related to Buddhism, the history of Buddhism, Buddhism tarihi, eski Hint tarihi. I prefer to write in Turkish because the original works are in Turkish. But you have chance to see their translation in English, like what they are about. The first one is the Catalogue of Ancient and Modern East Asia of Indo Beginnings and Hindus, History of Buddhism, Ancient History of India, Small Ancient History in Central Anatolia, Kırşehir. This is the city he lived in, Kırşehir, very small city near the capital Ankara. So it's really amazing that what he did in this small town related to Sanskrit and related to Turkish culture and to understand Anatolian culture as well. And also here he translated one of the masterpieces of Sanskrit literature here, and it was translated with the name Toprak Arabacık in Turkish version. Yes. And here you see like so many works, more than I can pronounce here. So I think you can maybe take picture of it, or you will have chance to read all of it in the full paper. After Walter Ruben started these practices and also Sanskrit classics and in this faculty, after him, actually it is called as Ruben School, and people who continued these studies related to Sanskrit and Indology. The first one is Abidin Itil, his student. He worked as Ruben's assistant at that time at the faculty. And Abidin Itil, as you see, between 1961 and 1962, this is a picture from that year. He started his academic career he was research assistant actually at the university at that time. He is the first Turkish Indologist in that department after Walter Ruben. That's why he's so important. And he was also so productive. He participated in so many scientific conferences. He did so many translations and works from Sanskrit. Also, he was publishing this Journal of Turkish Culture, Türk Kültür Dergisi, and also Doğu Dilleri Dergisi, the Journal of Eastern Languages. He had an editorial role in this journal. And he served as the head of the Institute of Eastern Languages and Literature Research at the faculty. And he could speak German, English, Persian, and Sanskrit, of course. So when we look at his contribution to Indology, you see some of his works here, Sanskrit Kılavuzu and Buddhism Tarihi. So he was writing in Turkish. That's also incredible, actually, to translating it from Sanskrit and also like writing in another language in Turkish. So in the Indra Dharma, İki Sonbahar Tasviri, Kral Deniz, you see like his works here, his contribution. And I would like to mention about the others who followed Ruben's school, and also the scholars who were doing the similar research after Abidin Itil, Kemal Çağdaş and İnci Macun. So following Abidin Itil, Professor Kemal Çağdaş and Professor İnci Macun are the second and third scholars who were really prominent, and also their studies, they also continued this legacy in Turkey for Indology department. So here we see some of the Kemal Çağdaş's works, Sanskrit Turkish Dictionary and Sanskrit Reader. And this is still the textbook for Turkish Indologist students right now. Right now, of course, this I'm talking about them like giving in short information, but you will find more detail in the full text. So right now I would like to mention about the contemporary presentations. Right now, currently working in the Indology department, who followed this school and this legacy in Turkey for Indology department, Korhan Kaya and Derya Can. So they are working in this department of Indology in Ankara University. Faculty of Language, History and Geography department. So you see some of their translations. The first one is about Walter Ruben's articles. It's a collection of his articles. And the third one is also the second version of the studies on India and Turkey. And the last one, you can see International Panel on Turkey in the Historical and Contemporary Relations. So we are, as the people who specialized on India, history and culture of India, I also contributed in that books. So in conclusion, the paper aims to provide a descriptive overview on focusing on the history of the Sanskrit language teaching in Turkey and the Turkish translations of these people's literary works. And these practices in Turkey, and also the paper intends to foster the dialogue that highlights the shared intellectual heritage between Bharat and Turkey, of course. Of course, the paper aims to enrich the understanding of both cultures, so we have to give more focus maybe to those kind of studies, because yes, they have started this legacy, but I think we have to continue this. So this accumulated knowledge actually has significantly enriched our understanding of both India's cultural heritage and its legacy in Turkey, which ensures the continuation of these kind of studies and research. And when, for example, we talk about this kind of studies, so many people were really surprised about there is an Indology department in Turkey. As well as talking about the mission of this department, so we are humbly trying to contribute to this legacy. Thank you so much.
Dr. Bahar, should I take questions or at the last? What is your view? At the evening. Thank you. So, Professor Upendra, next.
Comfortable?
So, Professor Upendra is Professor of Sanskrit in Indic Studies Center, India. It is just
Thank you very much. Thank you, Professor Ravi Shekharji. I was very happy to hear my previous paper. It was so interesting that in Ankara, in Turkey, because I'm professor in School of Sanskrit and Indic Studies, I'm very happy to see all books, Kalidasa, Bhasa, Rāmāyaṇa, Bhagavad Gita. I never had this information in Turkey, Indology, because I was in Russia, in the Kazakhstan, other countries, and Southeast Asia also, but I could not visit Turkey so far. That's why I don't have information also. Yeah, now it is very interesting. You see how all books are translated, and very important. Thank you very much. And now, as depicted in Cambodian Sanskrit inscriptions, sculptures, and paintings. So, as you know, that Rāmāyaṇa is very, very important poem. Without giving any introduction, I'm just directly go. It is there already. Long ago, Rāmāyaṇa of India had entered in whole Southeast Asia due to its great dharma significance. How it has entered, you see, in entire Sanskrit literature, it's very amazing that you cannot find a poem like Rāmāyaṇa. The only one poem, Rāmāyaṇa, has travelled and crossed the boundaries of the even India, you can say, or even Jambudvipa, you can say. It entered into. The reason is it has the great dharma significance and also literary qualities. These countries indigenized the story of Rāmāyaṇa according to their native cultures. Rāmāyaṇa is called Rāmakhiyan in Thailand. It has different names. It is not same in all Southeast Asia. In Thailand, it is called Rāmakhiyan. In Cambodia, it is called Reemkhe. But meaning is same. Meaning is Ramakirti. But they pronounce it as a Rāmakhiyan. And in Cambodia, they say Reemkhe. On temples, pagodas, and royal palaces of Cambodia and Thailand, the sculptures and paintings of Rāmāyaṇa can be found. It's very popular. The Cambodian version of Rāmāyaṇa is quite interesting. It helps to understand the Cambodian culture and highlights the similarities and associations of Khmer culture with ancient Indian culture. They prepared their Ramayana like we prepared Kamba Ramayana, Mulla Ramayana, and other Ramayana, Bhaskar Ramayana, Ananda Ramayana, etc. in India, in Indian regions. Cambodia was influenced by Indian culture in such a way that it became an extended part of India in those days. Cambodia is not at all, because according to R.C. Majumdar, it was the extended part of India only. Now it became, long ago, it is, because after entering the Count India, it became Cambodia. So the famous French scholar Georges Sides, I think those who know about the Southeast Asian, Georges Sides is a great person. He writes that Indian culture was popular in Cambodia during the 1st century only. So why I am quoting? Because I am not quoting any Indian author or anybody, but Georges Sides says like this. Because due to Georges Sides only, all Sanskrit inscriptions came into light in Cambodia. He is the first person who worked on Sanskrit inscriptions in Cambodia. All rock edicts in Cambodia are written in Sanskrit. A great Sanskrit and very interesting subject. The first evidence of the existence of Ramayana in Cambodia is the Wheel Kantal inscription, which is called Wheel Kantal inscription, dated back to 6th century Common Era, which informs us about the 3 Indian scriptures, namely Ramayana, Mahabharata, and Purana. In Wheel Kantal inscription, which is of 6th century, you can find these 3 names. That is the oldest inscription which we found. 3 names, Ramayana, Mahabharata, and Purana. The Ramayana continued in Cambodia in its original form till 14th century. That means Valmiki Ramayana was studied and heard in its original form till 14th century Common Era in Cambodia. Till 14th century, it was original Ramayana was recited, original Ramayana was studied. They did not have Ramayana up to 14th century. Same Ramayana in Sanskrit they used to read. Ramayana entered in Cambodia from Arya Desha. Very important informations are there. You see, they say, we are not saying. You see, in India we have a lot of confusion, but very clearly in Cambodia written, Ramayana came here from Arya Desha. Ancient Cambodians called India as Arya Desha. Very clear. Close from here. So, the inscription says, Adhadvijogascha iti pratito. When inscription, it is very clearly written in Sanskrit. Adhadvijogascha iti pratito yo veda vedanga vidarya deshe labdhodayo ya mahishidha vamsha yashomati iti pratidha yashobhi. That is what a verse found in that inscription in Cambodia. So, inscriptions means not fragmented, complete stanzas are available. You see, very clear stanza, you can see. Then it is written that from Arya Desha, a Dvija, a Brahmin came here to Cambodia, and he was a great Veda Vedangavit who knows the Veda Vedangas, and he came from Arya Desha. So, from the Prabhat inscription, 9th century during the reign of King Yashovarman. This is from this Prabhat inscription, this verse. There is a Brahmin named Agastya who came from Arya Desha, then married Yashomati, the daughter of King Yashovarman. That is the meaning of this. Next. Being inspired by richness of Valmiki Ramayana, 3 Cambodian scholars have composed a Khmer version of Ramayana, but it has not happened at once. It took 3 centuries for them to compose this Khmer version of Ramayana. The Khmer version of Ramayana had been divided into 2 parts. The first one is based on the Balakanda and Ayodhyakanda of Valmiki Ramayana. The second part contains the story of Uttarakanda. Cambodians had contemplated how to render such a long text of Ramayana into Khmer. It was not easy job. It was not an easy task for them because the Valmiki Sanskrit epic of Ramayana contains more than 24,000 verses. Therefore, the Khmer authors, like other Southeast Asians, have condensed the story of Ramayana into 5,000 verses. In Prerup stele inscription of Rajendra Varman dated 883 Common Era, one can find many references of Vedic scriptures. Rajendra Varman's inscription, we have references of many Vedic scriptures, not only Ramayana. In the same Prerup stele inscription of Rajendra Varman dated 883 Common Era, we can find the references of Ramayana and Mahabharata. Some sound is coming in. You can reduce the sound, I think. Some echo is coming in.
In fact, mic की जरूरत नहीं है.
नहीं जरूरत नहीं है. I think I read like this. It is more better. I see. Okay. I go back. So, the enemies of king were afraid, like the demon Maricha was afraid of Rama. In another verse of the same inscription, the legend of Mahabharata can be found. In this verse, all important names of warriors of Mahabharata are revealed, like Yudhishthira, Bhishma, Duryodhana, etc. Also, a subsequent verse reveals the legend of Mahabharata. So here you have just because I visited the temples and I have kept the video. I was asking the same, it needs sound. Here, okay. Okay. Some scholars of iconography indicated that some of the sculptures and paintings of Ramayana, which can be found in Cambodia, can't be found even in India because of this indigenization. They have their own version of Ramayana. That is what I wanted to say. Ramayana, there is some indigenous narrations are there in Ramayana. To site of such indigenization, during the Sita Swayamvara, various gods have arrived on their vahanas, like Brahma on his Hamsa, Indra on his Airavata, and Agni on rhinoceros instead of ram. But in India, Agni Deva rides ram, which is not fit to the Khmer environment, so that they indigenized the story according to their native culture. So Agni sits on the ram, this is according to Indian culture. But there, Agni comes, Ramayana, Agni comes on rhinoceros, not on ram. So this is, this is also ram. We can find, Agni seated on the ram, 14th, 15th century from Indonesia. We have this. And Agni seated on the ram, Angkor Borai, Cambodia also you have, 7th century. But description is Agni has come to Sita Swayamvara sitting on the rhinoceros, not on the ram. Okay, next. So during my visit to Silver Pagoda situated near the Royal Palace in Phnom Penh in 2016, the 120 years old Ramayana paintings dated 1903 to 1904, there is a huge fresco depicting the abduction and rescue. The paintings are still there in Royal Palace. One portion of that is complete Ramayana paintings. From this starting, you come to end, Ramayana finished. It's a long palace. One portion of the fresco contains an inscription in Khmer, which is not clear and legible, but I tried to get its meaning. The translation of that Khmer inscription is as follows. It is when Hanuman takes Rama to a mountain called, that is not clear actually, it's not clear what is what called, the name is has disappeared or not clear, and tell a Devata to look after Lord Rama. Next. So this is the painting. Hanuman takes Lord Rama to a mountain and pray Devata to look after Lord Rama. So this one you can paint, and this is also another one. Hanuman is saving Rama, keeping him in his mouth for one night. Here, inside the Hanuman's mouth, we see clearly two figures. The one laying down is Rama, very small figures. You cannot see clearly, but one is laying down, that is Rama, and the other one is the Mayravana. The another fresco also shows only Rama kept on the mountain peak by Hanuman. So who was that figure inside his mouth? The figure is of the Vairavana or Mayravana. That's what the. And similarly, a picture of another part of the fresco shows the Hanuman within the palace approaching someone. Who is this? He was the Vairavana or Mayravana. You can see there. These things have been discussed by me with the local scholars of Cambodia. The story is as follows. So the story, let us skip this story. And then this is the inscription, you see. This is the pre-Rup stele inscription of Rajendra Varman dated 883 AD. More than 2 meter high. It's taken from Khmer Khom site. It's taken from Khmer Khom site. Its complete stampede is as follows. It's a big inscription. It has so many verses, nearly 200 verses. It's like a poem on the inscription. So another inscription, you can see very clearly the stanza, but the script is Khom script. It's ancient Khmer script. Language is Sanskrit. The verse I am writing here, Maricha iva Ramasya, Namad Yekakshara Yasyari Rajo Viropi, Jagam Ananyajam Bhiyam. This is the. And again, there is another video. These videos are interesting, but if we can hear, but if we cannot hear, here you can, there, here. And click on the, here on the plane, you can click. Yes.
This is temple. According to Vahigrama,
yeah, this one.
this grand temple was constructed by King Arundhati during the 10th century. And King Rajendra was the lover of Sanskrit language because he installed a huge Sanskrit inscription here in this place. Once upon a time, it was here, the Sanskrit inscription, but now the Sanskrit inscription is in the Museum of Phnom Penh. That inscription is the longest Sanskrit inscription found in Cambodia. And it was nicely written. Let me read some verses of this Sanskrit inscription, even though the inscription is not here, but it was here once upon a time.
Okay, next. That previous one you can show? That is only picture or video? This is a picture, okay. This is the Buffoon temple. Actually, Buffoon means, they say Buffoon temple. So many, they use all Sanskrit words, but we cannot understand, that's all. Buffoon means, you see, Ba means Bra. Bra means Vara. Vara is changed to Bra and Ba. The phone means Bhuvana. Ultimately, Buffoon means Bhuvaneshwara, Vara Bhuvaneshwara temple. Actually, they call Vara Bhuvaneshwara as Buffoon temple. It's such a brief they use. And that is very interesting. You see Rāmāyaṇa description. And then next. Rāmāyaṇa sculptures and temples, the Rāmāyaṇa war seen on the Praveshadvara of Bantai Samurai temple at Angkor. You see, you can see Rāmāyaṇa war there, yeah, just on the top of the temple, on the Praveshadvara. Next. And also, I think it is a video, I think.
The Arundhati Bhattacharyya, the construction of bridge to enter into Lanka by Rama and his army. You can see Bharat are lifting stones for the bridge construction.
That's all. It's very small, that is why it is playing, very brief. Okay, next. Bantai Samurai temple, this is Varadi Nirmana, you can see. That was the Varadi Nirmana. Next. Rāmāyaṇa sculptures and temples are there again. I am showing the Rāmāyaṇa war scene on the Bantai Samurai temple and the Angkor Thom. The Rāmāyaṇa war scene, you can see Sugriva and that is Meghanad fighting. Okay, next. Buffoon temple again, this is also video, I think, but okay.
Running out, sir.
Huh?
You have completed already 20 minutes.
Yes. Rāmāyaṇa, yeah. And you can see, this is very interesting. Sage is reading palm leaf. Sculpture on the Bayon temple during the 12th century. A sage is reading palm leaves. So, palm leaves also are there at that time. Next. I think it is finished. Next. Yeah, next, this is also video. Okay, next, this is Rāmāyaṇa murals on what Bo pagoda. This is pagoda also very interesting. Pagoda is Buddhist pagoda, but all sculptures are Rāmāyaṇa. It's very interesting. Okay. And the Buffoon temple is another one. You can see the war scenes of Rāmāyaṇa. Next. See what Damnak pagoda in Siem Reap. All sculpture inside the Buddhist pagoda. It's a Buddha statue, Buddha's temple actually, but all sculptures of Rāmāyaṇa. Because Rāmāyaṇa is their culture. Buffoon temple, you can see how sculptures are there and Rāmāyaṇa sculptures, different descriptions. Next. You can see how Rāmāyaṇa, this is the wooden sculptures, not the wood on the temples. Again, Rāmāyaṇa only. And this picture displayed in one of the coffee shops in Phnom Penh, shows how famous is the Rāmāyaṇa story in Cambodia. Rama and Hanuman both are taking coffee. That is what in coffee shop I found that. Show me again the previous one. So both are in coffee shop. I found this picture. I took the picture of this. It's such a famous. They wanted to propagate their coffee. You see, open they wrote. But both are taking coffee, Rama and Hanuman. So we have many sculptures of Rāmāyaṇa on ancient Indian, Cambodian temples. You can see like this. Siem Reap also, Angkor Wat also. This is from Angkor Wat. Next. And next. This is also, you can see when Lakshmana has fallen down. Rama and Lakshmana both have fallen down due to Nagapasha. All are crying, you see, all Vanarasena, monkeys, Vanarasena crying, and you can see sadness on their faces also very clearly. Okay, next. Okay, next. Time is over. I'm just concluding. Thank you very much. This is also from pagoda, from the talk of pagoda. Pictures are like this, Buddhist pagoda. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for being first-hand informer. So now I from University of St. Petersburg, Russia. Our topic of research is late Rabindranath Tagore and Bhagavad Gita.
Thank you so much. Only a second year PhD student, so sorry. Namaste, esteemed colleagues. It is a great honor and pleasure for me to be here today and to have an opportunity to share with you some modest observations that I've made regarding Tagore's dialogue with tradition, including his understanding of the philosophy of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita and its understandings, interpretations, primarily proposed by the Indian freedom fighters in early 20th century. Actually, in today's presentation, I will mostly refer to the last aspect of this dialogue and talk about Tagore's attitude towards the Gita's understanding that then about the Gita itself. May I ask for? Okay. So, to bridge the topic under consideration, I should note that Tagore and his family always held a deep respect to the Bhagavad Gita and its interpretations and made significant efforts to make the scripture and its interpretations accessible to the Bengali leaders in their national language. For example, Tagore's elder brother, Satendranath Thakur, translated the Bhagavad Gita from Sanskrit into Bengali in the early 20th century. Besides this, Dijendranath Thakur wrote the book Gita Poth in the middle of the 20th century, and Jatindranath Tagore translated Bal Gangadhar Tilak's book Gita Rahasya from Marathi to Bengali in 1924, which was dedicated to the author's interpretation of the teaching of the Gita. As for Tagore himself, both in his prose and poetry, we can find quotations from the Bhagavad Gita and allusions to it, which also serve as evidence that the philosophy of Bhagavad Gita held deep significance for the Bengali classic. However, at the beginning of the 20th century, Indian political identity underwent profound qualitative changes, which apparently prompted Tagore to reflect on the philosophy of the Bhagavad Gita and the understanding by others of its philosophy. And as a result of formation and strengthening of the national liberation movement in India, a revolutionary wing clearly emerged among the freedom fighters. They were opposing themselves to the moderate majority and advocated the use of extreme methods of struggle to achieve political goals. And I should note that Bhagavad Gita became a source of special inspiration for them, which they used to explain and to some extent to justify their activities. So this practice, dating back to the period of the Swadeshi movement, caused deep concern and rejection in Rabindranath Tagore, who was firmly convinced that such a way is inappropriate. While describing Tagore's attitude towards the theme under discussion, I will follow the conception proposed by the Bengali scholar Arundhati Bhattacharyya and also will add some more examples. So the first protest against this idea, rather vague of this time, appeared in the works of the early 20th century, especially I'm talking about the novel The Home and the World. I think in terms of saving time, I will not introduce you the plot of the novel and says that describing the reality of Swadeshi movement depicted in the novel, Tagore reflects his concern and cannot help but address to the practice of using religious symbols to achieve political goals. So he tries to show the revolutionary wing, if I may say like that, the destructiveness of this path and use concrete specific examples. So maybe I'll read some abstracts to show the idea. Thus, the Swadeshi leader Shandip tries to justify and explain the use of violence and theft of money for the cause of India liberation in the following way. The beginning of the quotation. The Gita tells us that no one can kill the soul. Killing is a mere word, so also is taken away of money. Who is the money? No one has created it. No one can take it away with him, when he departs this life. For it is no part of his soul. Today it is mine, tomorrow my son's, and the next day his creditors. Since in fact money belongs to no one, why should any blame attach to our patriots if instead of leaving it for some worthless sons, they take it for their own use? The end of the quotation. The next round of Rabindranath Tagore's spiritual searches and reflections on the topic can be found in his work from the late 1920s to 1930s. It was a period in Indian history when it was experiencing another surge of revolutionary ideas whose supporters used to advocate for decisive actions and believes that freedom was of any cost. Thus, the famous red pamphlet clearly declared, we attach great sanctity to human life, but the sacrifice of individuals at the altar of a great revolution that will bring freedom to all, rendering the exploitation of man by man impossible, is inevitable. The end of quotation. In 1932, despite his age and increasingly frequent health problems, the elderly Tagore nevertheless responded to the invitation of the Persian Shah Reza Pahlavi to pay a friendly visit and went to Iran. The journey lasted a little more than a month, but as Tagore himself later writes in one of the 11 entries of his diary, Parosha Jatri, it became especially memorable to him. To some extent, distancing himself from what is happening, Tagore both literally and metaphorically writes about it in an attempt to comprehend the deeper meaning of the events taking place around him. He writes, the beginning of the quotation. As the airplane rises higher and higher, it reduces the play of our senses to that one alone, of sight, and even then, that is not left to its in its fullness. All the signs for which we believe the earth to be obviously and variously real are gradually wiped out, resolving its three-dimensional picture into lines of one dimension only. It seems that in such situation, when a man decides to rain down hundreds of deadly miles from an airplane, he can become ruthlessly terrifying. The calculation of the crimes of those he kills did not deter his raised arm, because the numerical value of the lives lost disappears. When a man's natural compassion becomes blurred by reality, the foundation of that compassion also vanishes. The philosophy preached in the Gita is akin to such an airplane. It takes Arjuna's compassionate mind to a distant world from which it is difficult to discern who kills, who dies, who is kin, who is foe. There are many such theoretically constructed and reality concealing airplanes in the arsenal of humanity, in human imperial policy, social policy, and religious policy. Hence, the consolation for those who have been fatally struck, Nahanyate hanyamane sharire. Tagore quotes here a passage from the 20th verse of the second chapter of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. And the final and decisive chapter of this rethinking of the understanding of the philosophy of Bhagavad Gita by the philosophers and actually freedom fighters of the beginning of the 20th century, we can find in his last novel, Charadhai, or the 4 chapters, which was written in 1934. Here I should make a small off-topic commentary. It seems that the novel 4 chapters was written not only as Tagore's reflection of deep sorrows on what was happening in political sphere, but also to some extent as a response to the provocative novel The Right of Way of Bodhir, written in 1926 by his younger contemporary Sharachandra Chattopadhyay, who glorified in his novel revolutionary methods of struggle. Unfortunately, again, in the interest of saving time, I cannot provide detailed information about the novel, but I must note the plot, thematic, and partially structural similarities between these 2 novels. This, as it seems to me, allows us to conclude that 4 chapters was to some extent a response of the Sharachandra Chattopadhyay's narrative. And it is also important to point out that the Indian revolutionary wing declared the novel The Right of Way of Bodhir as the second Bhagavad Gita. Returning to the novel 4 chapters, let me maybe briefly introduce you to the plot. The narration is focused on the deep emotional experiences of young women Ella, grown up in an unhealthy atmosphere of mother's lust for power and father's complete submission. Having matured and received education, Ella detests even the very idea of marriage and wants to earn her livelihood independently. At this time, she meets Indranath, a charismatic leader of an underground terrorist organization, and joining his group of secret activists, she takes a vow of celibacy and swears to devote her life to the independence struggle. Also, by a chance, she meets young man Upendra, and it is he who uncloses her eyes to the true intentions of their master, dispassionately exploiting the group to take revenge on his offenders. Realizing that the situation is getting out of control, Indranath instructs Upendra to kill Ella, and Upendra actually did it despite the fact that he has no more belief in the Indranath's ideas. He comes to Ella, she feels what is going to happen and asks him to put an end on her sufferings. From far comes the scene sound of a whistle, so the story ends. There are quite few references to the Bhagavad Gita in 4 chapters, but the following 2 scenes are particularly noteworthy. Let me read them again. Trying to convince Ella that the use of violence is inevitable in the activities, Indranath attempts to justify and explain its necessity in the following way, the beginning of the quotation. You plume yourself on your sympathy with suffering. I wanted to show you how out of place that is in a situation of danger. When I asked you to shoot a kid the other day, you said you couldn't. The other girl, your cousin, did it to show off. She laughed when the kid rolled over with a broken leg to make out that she didn't care, but her laugh was hysterical and she had no sleep that night. Had it been a tiger coming after you, would you have hesitated to shoot to kill? It is because I can clearly visualize the tiger that I have ceased to any use for pity or compunction. The advice given by Sri Krishna to Arjuna in the Gita to fight did not mean that he was to be cruel, but simply to be undeterred by softer sentiments and carrying out his high purpose. You see the point? Ideas, the end of quotation. ideas to some extent akin to those used by Bengali revolutionary groups. Thus, through the tragic fates of Ella and Atindra, who were consumed by a sense of false political sacrifice, Tagore demonstrates that the path proposed by freedom fighters of that period will not lead India to true freedom, which, by the way, is not limited in Tagore's philosophy merely to political freedom. In 4 chapters, Tagore attempts to rethink, as it seems to me, some aspects of the philosophy of the Gita itself. In this regard, the following dialogue between Ella and Atindra deserves special attention. The beginning of the quotation. Do you mean that the duty cannot be accepted as duty even after overcoming aversion, or ruchi in Bengali? It is not about aversion, Eli, it is about svabhava. Shri Krishna told Arjuna to fulfill the duty of a hero despite his great aversion. He didn't instruct him to study agricultural economics in order to cultivate Kurukshetra. What should Shri Krishna have told you? What would Shri Krishna have told you, Onto? He told me privately long ago it was my responsibility to share his words openly. Everyone has the same duty. By stating this indiscriminately, our master has created so much artificiality. I'm telling you to your face that you have no place in the company you arrogantly join to show your humility. Goddesses. You are all goddesses. The artificial dresses of fake goddesses, like other decorations for women, are made in men's tailor shops. Thus, according to Atindra, the concepts of duty and freedom of choice are not merely linked, but to some extent inseparable from each other. One can fulfill one's duty even without wanting to, but it is impossible to do it without destroying the person within oneself, if the fulfillment of duty implies limiting or sacrificing one's nature, svabhava. The young man explains this idea to his beloved using the example of his own experience. The place you've assigned to me, calling it country, which after all is nothing but a country of your band's own make, whatever it may mean to others, is nothing but a cage for me. My natural powers do not find full scope in it, they are becoming unhealthy and perverted. I'm ashamed of what I am doing, but I find the way out blocked. You don't seem to realize how my wings have been clipped, my arms shackled. I had the responsibility as well as the capacity to take my own true place in my country's service. You made me forget it. The end of the quotation. It seems that in this way Tagore expressed a certain concern and partially disagreement. Oh, sorry. Actually, I'm about to end my presentation. The good point that I have to stress is that by engaging in polemics with several understandings, interpretation of the philosophy of the Gita of that time, and also partially by making a dialogue with the Bhagavad Gita itself, Tagore transforms his last novel, 4 chapters, into this kind of final answer in this long-term dialogue with himself, his compatriots, and tradition, proclaiming the novel, the apology of non-violence, humanity, and high ideals of spirituality. Well, and according to the Bengali scholar Tanika Sarkar, the 4 chapters is more than indignant message than a novel, a polemic that he had to hastily convey through an acceptable literary form. I think that's all I wanted to say today, esteemed colleagues. I'm not an expert in this theme and merely have shared with you some observations that I made while working on the ideological content of Rabindranath Tagore's political novels. So thank you for your attention, I will be especially glad to receive your questions and commentaries. Thank you so much.
First of all, I should say sorry for technical glitch.
Oh,
we have been able to.
It's okay.
So you forget later. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
Now, Dr.
All of you, I'm Dr. Arundhati Bhattacharyya from University of Burdwan, West Bengal. My topic or title of my paper is Challenges to Digital Humanities and Knowledge Preservation in India. So there are certain things which I will go through. The first is that what is digital humanities and what is knowledge preservation? The benefits of digital humanities and knowledge preservation, what are the power dynamics and inequality in digital knowledge preservation? What are the social and cultural contexts that shape the digital knowledge formation? And mainly to understand the challenges that have to be faced while using digital humanities and knowledge preservation. Now, what is digital humanities? Digital humanities combine technology, humanities, and social sciences. It is an institutional endeavor. Humanities clearly need to engage with the digital nowadays. The objective of digital humanities is to analyze, represent, and preserve cultural and historical knowledge. Digital humanities play an important role in opening the path for hope, innovation, and infrastructure. They provide an exploratory place for learning. Examples can be given where research materials in most disciplines of humanities are being available in the digital formats. This is true for records that have already been there and which are being digitized. Similarly, there are digitally born materials which are becoming more relevant for research and teaching in humanities. These materials require careful digitization, coding, systematization. There is need for expertise, collaboration, and proper well thought out practices. The research material is large and heterogeneous. Tools are not neutral. As Johanna Drucker has stated that methodological awareness is an important variant. Digitally born materials like websites, archived emails, surveillance data, online video, etc. can be useful for humanistic inquiry. There is a long tradition of humanities engaging with different kinds of materials. Digital material can be stated to be an extension of this tradition. Digital humanists share commitment to collaboration, openness, and experimentation. The most common use to which digital humanists have put the web has been the material distribution and presentation to other scholarly researchers. Most of the early practitioners of digital history who were committed to democratizing the creation of the past and diversifying history taught in high schools and universities. Democratizing the past, incorporating multiple voices, reaching diverse audiences, and encouraging popular participation in preserving the past. Since 2004, the use of digital technology and the media are recognized. Digital sessions do occur in most conference programs. Expertise in digital technology is required in many recruitments or job advertisements. Discussions on digital humanities that fail to recognize the different sources, approaches, and questions of humanities discipline limit the audience they will engage. This can also alienate the scholars of humanities who do not see their fields represented. In this manner, they create a barrier to the interest and entry to the field. Traditional publishing has been the norm in humanities, but now new options are opening up like open access, digital distribution, online publishing platforms, etc. New models of education are coming up. The campus is being transcended and online courses have been created that bring together participants from across the globe. Massive open online courses or MOOC has the potential to expand access to education and facilitate participatory networks. MOOCs involve video lectures, quizzes, online discussions, individual projects, etc. The benefit of MOOC is that it is low cost and very flexible. Open courses in digital humanities do not hamper traditional education. Rather, it increases learning opportunities. MOOCs can enable students to come together for projects, exchange ideas, and build a learning community. Social media platforms like X provide opportunities to converse regarding research and policy influencing processes. Use of social media may result in involvement in the issue. It can bring in change in attitudinal support. Use of social media may lead to behavior stimulation effect that gives rise to participation. The indirect consequences of social media platforms on involvement function via internal and shared performance. Political distribution of messages on social media mobilizes participants' sense of personal and conjoint operation. Big digital humanities are a project with considerable potential and range. It engages deeply with humanities discipline. It has multifaceted engagement with the digital, and formal recognition of digital work in the humanities remain full of problems. Socially, this has to do with the slow pace of institutional change. It raises the problem how knowledge-bearing objects are to be preserved in the long term. Many a times, low status is given to work of popular culture. Some of the challenges to digital humanities. Digital scholarship is repackaging work. Scholars in all disciplines engaged in activities which are imagined in different digital age, though there is lack of any substantial differences except the new technologies. Digital humanities' relation with individual academic disciplines is difficult to define due to the uncertainties in the definition of digital humanities itself. Not all textually oriented disciplines are equally represented. It has also suggested that digital humanities has become a label of convenience even for those disciplines which are closely related to digital humanities. Knowledge preservation. It includes the processes and methods used to safeguard and maintain access to knowledge with the passage of time, ensuring its continued availability and usability for future generations. Knowledge preservation prevents loss of knowledge due to factors like time, technological changes, or errors of the human. It maintains integrity of knowledge. It ensures preserved knowledge remain accurate, reliable, and trustworthy. Moreover, sharing knowledge is facilitated. It enables preserved knowledge sharing among individuals, communities, and organizations. Knowledge preservation also supports the reuse of supporting knowledge in various contexts, such as education, research, development, and innovation. There are certain methods of preservation of knowledge like documentation, digitization, storage, sharing, etc. Documentation is recording knowledge in written or digital form. Digitization is converting the knowledge to digital formats. Storing knowledge in secure and accessible repository is also called storage. Curation is managing and maintaining collections of knowledge. Some of the challenges, and we are coming to the end of the paper, there may be challenges to knowledge preservation in India in several arenas. Rapid technological changes can render digital formats obsolete. This is called digital obsolescence. There may be digital degradation. Physical or storage media can deteriorate over time. Different file formats may be incompatible with the new software that is coming up every other day. Another big technical challenge is the threat to cybersecurity. There may be data breach, hacking, malware. There are challenges in the organization field. The efforts of preservation of knowledge can be hindered due to lack of enough fund, personnel, or infrastructure. There may be social and cultural challenges to preservation of knowledge. Hoarding of knowledge is one of them. There may be tendency to resist sharing knowledge and hindering preservation by individuals or groups. We come to the conclusion. Digital humanities should be made a humanistic responsibility which enables with technology and is driven by curiosity. There is need for opening up multiple modes of engagement. Today, in the days of information technology, academic information is also reaching millions easily with a click of the mouse. Now, no one can hide academic information and knowledge via tangible books and journals. The e-content is accessible universally. Digital humanities can be viewed as scholarship in the right perspective. A holistic and comprehensive approach is required for preservation of knowledge and for overcoming the social, economic, cultural, and organizational challenges. Thank you so much.
Thank you, madam. So now we welcome the last speaker, Dr. Chakravarti from Scottish Church College, Kolkata. He is going to speak on Mandir Sthapatya, novelty, balance and sustainability before the invention of architecture. This is actually the school, sir, second year.
Yes.
You are going to. So what is your name?
Diganto Chakraborty, but not Dr. Diganto Chakraborty. My namaskar and greetings to all. It's my privilege to present my paper such an prestigious platform like JNU in an international conference. And the topic of my paper is Mandir Sthapatya, Novelty, Balance, Sustainability before the Invention of Architecture. First of all, I try to focus on the very basic point that the term Mandir Sthapatya is just a translation Indian temple architecture, it can say it. But Mandir Sthapatya and temple architecture are not the same. Just like we know Vivekananda and Sister Nivedita said, Dharma and religion are not the same. In the same way, Mandir Sthapatya and the term temple architecture are not the same. So in my paper, I use the term Mandir Sthapatya. Next slide. Now come to the introduction. That ancient Bharat, we know that's quite advanced in Sthapatya Vidya. Very Western historians are agreed with this point, just like A.L. Basam. A book titled Vigu Samhita, selecting lands like form, rasha, smell, color, touch. Additionally, this book provides instruction on what the shape of the land should be. There are many such texts in which the sages of ancient India gave various instructions about architecture. That is why the architectures created thousands of years ago still stand with the same glory. Here only few are illustrated. However, you observe minutely the characteristics of ancient Bharatiya cities have 9 distinct features. I have mentioned it in this PPT. Now, next slide. Now came to the Pallava art. Pallava art flourished during the region of Pallava kings Mahendra Varma and Narasimha Varma in South India during the late Gupta period. The incredible craftsmanship in architecture and sculpture during the region of the Pallava king is still evident today. A very important feature of Pallava art is construction of hill-cut temples. The temple of Kailashanath at Ellora is one of the most amazing temples in the world, built by cutting into the entire mountain. The famous temple of Tanjore, building during the reign of the Chola kings, is considered the best temple in India from the Chola period. Initially, the Chola kings built small temples, but later they constructed several large temples that are still popular among the people today. The most important structure built during the reign of the Chola kings is Brihadashara temple at Thanjavur in Tamil Nadu. This 1,000-year-old Nataraj temple has witnessed many events. Inside the temple is a 5-meter-tall dancing Shiva doll. This traditional temple is built in the Dravidian style of architecture. It is said that the temple was first built by Tamil king Raja Chola I in the 11th century between 1003 and 1010 AD. It has already been designed as a World Heritage Site by UNESCO. In their accounts, it is marked as the great living Chola temples, according to historians. It was known as Rajeshwaram temple during Chola rule. This temple was the focal point of all festivals and religious events. The architecture of temple is very wonderful. The entire temple is made by cutting huge granite stones. Again, the architecture of Puri, Konarak, and Bhubaneswar temple in Odisha, built from 8th to 13th century, is quite admirable. Bhubaneswar, often referred to the city of India, to the temple city of India, houses numerous temples that showcase the development of Kalinga architecture. The Kalinga architecture, as it is known, came into existence in 6th century AD and continued unbeatable till the 16th century. The kings of Gajapati's Kalinga, irrespective of dynasty, encouraged the architects to express their creativity by infusing life into stone. Among these, the Lingaraja temple of Bhubaneswar is the most majestic to the people. Lingaraja temple is devoted to the Hindu god Harihara, a form of Shiva and Vishnu. It is the biggest temple in the city. It is one of the most tourist attraction in Odisha. The height of the temple is 55 semi, and here is the description of the temple. Next slide. Here we can see a picture which shows the plan of the Lingaraja temple. The Lingaraja temple Bhubaneswar, which is located in Odisha. And this picture I have taken from a very famous book written by A.L. Basam, The Untold, that was India. Next slide. The architectural art of Konark is also showing. The Konark or Konark Sun temple is dedicated to very respected Hindu deity, god Surya. The word Konark is a combination of two Sanskrit words, Kona and Arka. Kona means angle and Arka means sun. It thus implies that the main deity was the sun god and the temple was built in an angular format. The temple follows the Kolingo or Odisha style of architecture, which is a subset of a Nangara style of Hindu temples. The Odisha style is believed to showcase the Nangara style in all its purity. The Nangara was among the three styles of Hindu temple architecture in India and prevail in northern India, while in south and Dravida style predominant, and the central and eastern India it was the Vajra style. These styles can be distinguished by how features such as ground play and elevation are represented visually. In 12,055 AD, King Narasimha Dev and the Eastern Ganga dynasty established this temple. The whole temple was designed as a chariot of god Surya. According to Hinduism, this temple was built to worship the god Sun. Built in the same shape of a chariot, this temple have 12 wheels, 7 horses. The sun god's chariot also believed to have 12 wheels and 7 horses. Not only that, each of these wheels had 8 spokes, which symbolize the 8, actually the prahara. One prahara means 3 hours, so 8 spokes of the day. Additionally, 128 types of dancing idols can be seen in this temple. Among them, Nipuri, Bharatnatyam are various forms of daily arts. Furthermore, the many other arts forms seen in this temple fascinate people even today. The art and sculpture of this temple amaze not only the art lovers of India but also the world. Next slide. Here we are seeing a very famous temple, Konark Sun temple, which is located in Odisha. At that time, the strong magnet on the top of the temple would have damaged their ships, so they removed the magnet placed on the temple. Since then, the balance of the temple has been lost and it is headed for destruction. The temple is made 3 types of stone, clarite, laterite and candlelite, due to the invasion of Kala Bahar, a Hindu convert general of Sulaiman Khan Karani, the ruler of Bengal in 1568. Soaring tower of the temple was lost. Mukteshwara temple, another one of the most prominent temples of Bhubaneswar, has been constructed in the style that is quite similar to the one used in Kalinga school of temple architecture. The splendid torana of the temple and ornamental arcade gateway is very much reminiscent of the influence of Buddhism in Odisha. The Mukteshwara temple is believed to be the earliest masterpiece from the Somavashi period. The temple is known as the jewel of Odisha architecture. This architecture is one of the basic reasons why Mukteshwara temple is also known as gem of Odisha architecture or Kalinga architecture. It is widely considered the predecessors of the famous Bambeshwara temple constructed around 1060 CE, while the exact date of its construction remains an object of debate. The most striking feature is that Torana and arched gateway that dates back to around 900 CE and shows influences of Buddhist architecture. The gateway is adorned with the thick pillars embellished with the intricate carving of beds and statues of women in various poses, evoking a sense of grace and serenity. Next slide. Here there is a picture of Mukteshwara temple. Now, in a book titled The Wonder That Was India, written by A.L. Basam, he quoted the Odishan architecture were lavish with their exterior decorations and their sculptures produced works of great merit, but the interiors of their temples are unadorned. The temple of Khajuraho, built during the Chandela kings of central India, are also quite eye-catching. Each temple has a school. In ancient India, not only was religion taught in this temple, but education in all surrounding subjects was also provided in this school. We have seen when the Ram Mandir was re-established in the last year, a certain group of people, including some so-called intellectuals, tried to portray it as a waste of money. But here we can see that ancient temples were not just places of worship, they were centers of learning, culture, and social development. Another interesting thing is that if you look at the temple from the front, you can see only one dome-like structure, but if you walk around to the back, it shows two. The temple square is about 100 feet by 70 feet, and the main temple sits on 8-foot high platform. Next slide. The city planning we find in Indus civilization 5,000 years ago is a wonder to the whole world. Even in the Vedic period, we found references to house building, city building, etc. In the Rig Veda, there is a talk of building a house with tridhatu, 3 types of metal. An ancient text called Srukaniti describes the road construction process in detail. The mixing ratio of various materials for road construction is described in the ancient text. The evidence of examples of architecture found in India during the era of Ramayana and Mahabharata and the Puranas are truly amazing. Here is the picture of Lefaki temple. It's not just a place of worship and historical significance. It is also a living testament of architectural brilliance of ancient Bharat. The literal meaning of the word is lepa and akshi, an emblemed eye or painted eye. Due to several stories signifying the meaning of the name of the village, it's very difficult to understand its origin. The Veerbhadra temple or Lepakshi temple located in Lepakshi in the Anantapura district of the state Andhra Pradesh is a wonderful example of Ramayana era sculpture. It is believed that the bird Jatayu, wounded by king of Lanka Ravana, fell here after a battle against the king who was carrying away the Ma Sita, the wife of Sri Rama, the king of Ajodhya. When Rama reached the spot, he saw a bird and compassionately to him, Le Pakhi, meaning arise bird in the language of Telugu. According to the Skanda Purana, the Veerbhadra temple is one of the 108 peats of Shiva. According to the Purana, Sage Ajasta built this temple. Once you enter, you will see the temple stands on 70 pillars. Just by looking at these pillars, one of them has no contact with the ground. It is very amazing. It is visible to the naked eye hanging from above. There is a special mention of Lepakki village in the Ramayana also. Next slide. The British engineer, one British engineer quickly fled from the place, fearing the temple would collapse. Historians and archaeologists have also conducted research, but in the end, nothing came of it. The pillar is made of a single large block of granite and stand approximately 15 feet tall. It is a circular base and its top chord connects to the ceiling. Next slide. Although Ram worship was not a popular in eastern India as in northern India, the story of Ramayana was very familiar to the common people of West Bengal. This is evidenced by the numerous brick temples of the Navaparjay in Bengal. By Navaparjay temples, we mean the temples specify styles like Ek Chala, Do Chala, Jor Bangla, Char Chala mandirs. In the districts like Nadia, Hooghly, Howrah, Mendipur, North Chobbish Pargana, South Chobbish Pargana, and West Bengal, and the Akhanda Bangla like Dhaka, Faridpur, which are now in Bangladesh, are same designs panels are seeing being inserted these bricks temples from the 16th century, although their use was very limited or minimal at that time. Next slide. Initially built between 2 minutes. Initially built between 16th to 18th centuries, this temple showcased the creative brilliance of Bengal artisans. Next slide. It is a very famous temple, Madan Mohan temple, located in Vishnupur, a testament of terracotta architecture. Next slide. Next. It also an example of Jor Bangla temple, which is located in Vishnupur. Next. This is the temple Radha Govindoju temple, which is located in Hooghly district, a village titled Atpur. Here is a newspaper reporting in the famous newspaper The Telegraph on this temple. Next slide. Next. Now here I will finish after saying this. The 5 of the 8 Lord Shiva temples have Shiva Linga signifying elements of Panchabhuta, earth, water, fire, air and sky. And the Shiva Linga in straight line, it is a cause of The 5 temples were built according to the yogic sciences and are planned in a certain geographical alignment with each other to state that entire region revolved with the possibility they offered. And these temples are located in the state line, which is exclamation for all of the world. Now came to the conclusion. Just as the history of India is full of glory, the history of Bharatiya Sthapatya is also very glorious. Long before the term architecture was introduced, India was far ahead in technology and Sthapatya. The craftsmanship and sustainability of temples located in different parts of Bharat are proof of this. In this conclusive part, it is very essential to mention statement of limitation or scope for further studies. In this work, we have tried to present various temple architecture, better to say Sthapatya, from the tripartite viewpoints of the balance, novelty, and sustainability. Thank you.
So, all the 5 presentations are now complete. So, then the house is open for questions.
Imagination. Lepa Akshi is the correct. That is Sanskrit word, which is not Telugu word. If it is Telugu word, Pakshi is a short. It's Lepa Akshi. Somebody just added like that. That's not correct.
So, I think we have given a reference corresponding. Now, Professor Upendra is from Andhra Pradesh. I am not in a mood to contradict. He is a master of Sanskrit, he is master of Pali, and he also has mastery over Telugu. He knows Hindi and English as well. He knows more than half a dozen languages. So we cannot question him at least in Andhra Pradesh.
That's why.
He has mother tongue as Telugu. So anybody can raise question, and all the translation major classic text in Sanskrit has been translated in your country. We are extremely thankful, and you have senior professor with you. You have beautifully sketched all the growth sequentially, and we are very clear that we are not known to such a growth of our culture and language in your country. So from my country side, I am extremely thankful to you. So much work is going to be conducted, and for more than almost from 1933 to 2025, almost 95 years, you have been doing a great work on Indian culture. So we are extremely thankful. Any one of you can raise questions?
Thank you.
So what kind of courses you have in Ankara University? You have
Actually,
Indology.
Professor, it is called Indology, classical Indology program. We have bachelor degree, MA, and PhD programs as well. In the BA program, it's a kind of classical Indology style. It includes Sanskrit and Hindi lessons together, and also support with cultural history of India. It includes Buddhist literature, all Indian religions, or political history of ancient history and medieval history of India as well. But in MA and PhD, they are going to focus on one subject, of course, because it is a huge knowledge system, as you know better than me. So in MA and PhD, students have to focus on one of them and go on these topics as well.
very good. Thank you.
So any questions? No. Then our teacher, Professor Upendra Rao, he has first-hand study of all the cultural sites in Southeast Asia, and for years he has been there. So you can raise any questions. He has shown everything that he has studied. He has not taken anything from textbook. His textbook was temples in the Southeast Asia. So you can raise questions.
We learned so many things.
Yes, thank you so much.
Always pleasure to listen.
Yeah.
So I had the privilege to live in Cambodia. I was visiting professor and ICCR chair.
I see.
Oh.
Yeah.
So in the beginning I could not understand what is Cambodia, why I came here. Such a nuisance. I am not even getting vegetarian food here. But later on when I came to know about this connectivity, then it was very fascinating for me and I started researching.
So Remaining 3 speakers. Any questions? No questions. Yes, Siege. Yeah, you can raise questions.
Yeah.
I don't really understand this concept of Tagore, the concept of non-violence from Bhagavad Gita, because if you think it's premise quotation, you have just that for rules, so it's about the dharma, in my opinion. That actually, it is not that you are not allowed to fight, not at all. Actually, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that it's your dharma to fight, you are supposed to fight. So how did you get this concept of the Bhagavad Gita is against fighting as such? How do you assume that Tagore took this concept just from Bhagavad Gita?
Maybe thank you so much for your question. Actually, while talking about 4 chapters, I have connected several ideas, and my general understanding of this novel is his strong answer against this idea of implementing the extreme methods of struggle while gaining the liberation. And actually, I don't mean that the idea of ahimsa or the idea of not taking part in the struggle comes from not warring, comes from the Bhagavad Gita. I'm sorry for this misleading depiction.
Because obviously Tagore was against violence, right? This is, everyone knows it. But so what did he take from Bhagavad Gita? Because I couldn't understand what you know, because you're trying to situate Tagore in the context of Bhagavad Gita. This is very interesting for me. I believe that the first source for Tagore was the Veda, and Bhagavad Gita is just a milk of Vedas. So this is the secondary source, actually.
Yes, actually, while preparing this theme, it was a part of another big theme that I'm interested in, especially of interpreting of political and historical events in the Tagore's works. I found out that there are some clue points of Tagore's understanding of what was happening in political history of India of the beginning of the 20th century. And it was interesting to find out that he expressed his a kind of great protest against the idea of implementing the religious symbols, including the philosophy or some concept taken from the Bhagavad Gita into the political struggle. And actually, I'd like to stress out this idea while preparing this presentation and sharing with you these ideas. But maybe I've chosen the misleading topic.
Madam, say just a PhD student. Say, we have written doctor. She is no doctor. She is just a student.
I'm also a PhD student. I'm the first of my PhD,
But your question, can I try to answer? Because very interesting. At least 35 years ago, I was teaching Bhagavad Gita in Russia. So one student asked the same question to me. You are asked the same question because for that my answer is Bhagavad Gita's ultimate message is not to kill. That is not the ultimate message. You kill the people. That is not the message. So in the same Bhagavad Gita, there are the divine qualities and the demon qualities.
Yes.
So again and again emphasized on non-violence in the same Bhagavad Gita. Ahimsa, Satyam, Akrodha, all these things are there. So now why Krishna? Because Krishna did not ask him to kill, because that was a war time. And when completely war began, in spite of all kinds of efforts, all fails. Ultimately, lastly, the war has happened. That is the story of Mahabharata. Bhagavad Gita is a part of Mahabharata. It is in Bhishma Parva. So ultimately, when war started, everything is settled and war also started. Then Arjuna suddenly, he says that I will not kill because why we should kill them? Because Then Krishna explained, you see, this is the reality of the world. You are actually not killing. You are not killing the people because soul invisible, nobody can kill the soul. You are the soul. Don't worry for that. So in that way, he explains a big philosophy. The entire Bhagavad Gita is on that. And then he explained him, because you are thinking like that, because you are in delusion. You are in completely covered with the Maya, delusion. So because you are completely associated with the Prakriti, nature, you need the Prakriti Purusha Viveka Jnana, means a distinction between Prakriti and Purusha. You should realize your own quality, your own nature first. You are the Purusha, you are pure soul. But you are attached, you are in with the attachment of nature, you are feeling that you are killing and you are doing and you are dying, everything, but that is not the correct. You are different. Realize yourself. Then he explains the entire philosophy, the original philosophy, the true philosophy. And now, in order to eradicate the adharma, when it is essential for the kings, you have to do. Very clearly Krishna says that you are the Kshatriya and your duty is to do that now. This is the ultimate situation now. You cannot do that.
So this is actually what I meant, because it's in the context of the dharma, right? And it's, when here, this is Arjuna as a Kshatriya.
Yeah.
So this, I'm trying to say that this is not such a simple context as it may be, as it may seem, right? It's very complex. Because if you are Kshatriya, you're supposed to fight. It's not about killing, you're taking pleasure in killing, but you're
Because Kshatriya has to protect his country.
Yes.
Yeah.
Look, the very simple is, the Mahabharata of Ved Vyas contains 100,000 stanzas, right?
Yeah.
But he never dared to define in 100,000 stanzas dharma. Ved Vyas never tried. He cited others' example of dharma, but he never gave his own example. Right? I am a student of Mahabharata. I am a geographer by tradition, but each year I study 100 slokas in May, June. I never found any definition by Veda Vyas. Why? Because he knew all acceptable definition of dharma is not possible.
Correct.
One person can define, the other person will counter.
Correct.
So he never dared to. Only in Swargarohini Parv, when all Pandavas died, he gave a little well semblance of what is dharma. So when Draupadi was failing, Bhima asked, brother, our beloved wife is going to die. So what he said, she has to die because she was wife of all of us, but she was liking only Arjuna. That was her sin. Then Sahadev fell. He said, our most knowledgeable brother is going to die. What is your comment? He was knowledgeable, it is good, but he used to think we as fools. So he has to die. Then he said, our brother Nakula is going to die. What is your comment? Ki our comment is that he considered the most beautiful man on this earth and we croup, ugly. So he has to die. Then he says, our brother Arjuna is going to die, our most beloved brother. So he was powerful but not most powerful. वो डिंग हाँकता था. He talks much, worked less. That is who has to die. So brother, now I am going to die. Okay, you have to die because he used to eat majority of the food which was also meant for us. So your only purpose was eating. So now you die. Now the question rises, why Vedavyas took so much long period, and through Yudhishthir he narrates why they have committed mistake and why they are dying. And only Yudhishthira with full body went to Swarga. So it was only Yudhishthira who maintained dharma, other committed lots of mistake in their life, and so they did not go full body to Swarga. But even Vedavyas here indirectly points to, not directly delves into defining dharma. So dharma in India is everybody's duty. For a layman, if your father is old
he is ill, it is your bounden duty to serve him. It is a dharma. It is a dharma of the Agni to be hot. It is a dharma of the water to be cold. So it is the nature and it is a bounden duty. And dharma differs from individual to individual. Dhara iti dharma. But Vedavyas never tells anything about it. He quotes others. He knew the greatest scholar Indian tradition has produced was Vedavyas. But he never tried even once to define a dharma. Yes, order. To maintain order. He said Arjuna was guided to fight, to maintain dharma, because Duryodhana used to tell, Janami dharmam, nachame pravirti. Janami adharmam, nachame nibriti. मैं जानता हूँ कि अधर्म क्या है, but I am not going to deviate from it. तो वैसे wicked persons के लिए तो वही है. Thank you. So now one ritual is left. So I am coming to the photography वाले ले लो भाई. खींचो. So next line is Dr. Yal Singh, Kalai.
Yes, sir.
No problem. I understand. She is the youngest of all, so keep your big hand. Next, Dr. Arundhati Bhattacharyya.
Yes, sir. Sir.
Chakravarti. Last time we got so now I just want to pass to Guru. It's the Bible. So all the participants can come. Yeah. Only
Yes, ma'am. Done.